A wealthy mindset minimizes expenses in self-entertainment and maximizes investments in self-education. Orrin Woodward. Even though everyone knows that saving money is important, it can sometimes be difficult to put money aside when one has so many tempting options available to spend it on. Nevertheless, it is crucial to learn from the experiences of the rich on how they avoid unnecessary expenses in order to save money as effectively as possible. Number 10. Traveling unnecessarily. It is often believed that unnecessary travel is a luxury only afforded by those who are wealthy. Nevertheless, it is a rather costly expense that is avoided by many people, especially those who are wealthy. Simply put, saving money is something that every person should be doing, no matter what their income level is. The fact is that when it comes to travel, there are many ways to save money without having to sacrifice the quality of your experience. For example, you can usually find cheaper flights and hotels when traveling during off-peak times. Additionally, you may want to look for package deals that include transportation, meals, and activities as well. By being mindful of your travel expenses, you can ensure that you get the most bang for your buck, no matter how much money you have in the bank. Number 9. They don't keep up with the Kardashians or Joneses. It's been said that comparison is the thief of joy, and this is especially true when it comes to comparing what we have to what others have. It's easy for us to feel discouraged when we see other people who appear to have it all: a successful career, a beautiful home, a luxurious car, a luxury watch. It's easy to focus on what we don't have and blame ourselves for not having it. Despite this, it is important to remember that appearances can be deceiving. The fact that someone seems to have a perfect life does not necessarily mean they actually do. Number 8. They don't buy a lot of toys for their kids. While it may seem that buying a lot of toys is a hallmark of wealth, in reality, many rich people refrain from it. There are several reasons for this. First off, the primary disadvantage of credit cards is that they can rack up debt pretty quickly, and people with wealth tend to avoid debt at all costs. Furthermore, if you are buying an excessive number of toys, people usually interpret it as a sort of materialism, which is a thing that most well-off people would try to stay clear from. Moreover, purchasing a large number of toys can be wasteful, and many wealthy people opt to live a more sustainable lifestyle. Although buying a lot of toys might seem like the ultimate in luxury, the fact is that many wealthy people refrain from buying too many toys due to the negative environmental impact the practice has on both their wallets and the environment itself. Premium Joe conducted a survey that found that 69% of U.S. kids play with a maximum of 10 toys, whereas 21% play with 11 to 20 toys. Only 2 children out of 10 have a collection of 21 or more toys. Of all the toys that kids own, 80% of their time is spent playing with just 20 toys or less. Furthermore, parents participating in the survey reported that they spent an average of $329 on toys for each child in the household. In the opinion of Premium Joe, it is recommended that a child have 20 toys at any one time. Number 7. They avoid eating out. Dining out is sometimes seen as a pleasant indulgence, but for many rich people, it is a costly expense they would prefer to avoid. After all, saving money is one of the key ways to become and stay wealthy. Eating out regularly, especially at upscale restaurants, can be costly. It often results in leftovers for uneaten foods, which is wasted money. Moreover, wealthier individuals often have access to higher quality food at home, whether they prepare it themselves or hire a chef to do it. Additionally, dining out means that there is usually less control over the size of the portion and the ingredients as well, which can lead to overeating or consuming too many calories. Last but not least, rich people may prefer to host their guests at home rather than have them over for dinner. A rich person can save money by avoiding dining out and still maintain control over their diet, lifestyle, and budget. It is estimated that the average American household spends around $3,000 per year on dining out, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There are many cases in which you may be able to make a $15 meal at home for only $5 as opposed to $15 in a restaurant. We're not saying you should quit eating out completely to save money, but even reducing the number of times you are eating out and swapping it for a homemade meal will save you an adequate amount of money that will add up over time. It's estimated that by making just 2 of these meals at home instead of eating out, you will save $936, almost $1,000 annually. Number 6. They don't buy impulsively. Warren Buffett, a billionaire investor, once said, "If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you do need." In general, wealthy people avoid impulse buying for a variety of reasons. But there are a few reasons why they do so. One of the most important reasons is the fact that they care about saving money. They are always trying to cut costs and save money on a daily basis, and impulse buying goes against that principle. It eliminates their savings, making it hard for them to cover their basic needs. In addition, rich people are well aware of their expenses. When it comes to spending money, they know exactly where it's going, and they don't waste money on things that are not necessary. Moreover, travel is something that usually tops the list of wealthy people. It's important for them to be able to travel and see the world as much as possible, and impulse buying can quickly eat into that budget. Last but not least, wealthy people tend to be very disciplined when it comes to purchasing things. They resist the temptation to buy things on a whim and instead focus on making a thoughtful purchase. Number 5. Buying luxury brands. Many people look at luxury brands as being an unnecessary expense, especially for those who are already wealthy. There's no doubt about the fact that saving money is the number one priority for the rich, and luxury brands can be considered as a frivolous expense. Having a high-end brand can also be a source of anxiety for the wealthy, because it often comes with an expensive price tag, which can make it difficult to keep up with. Have you ever thought about why it is that you tend to go for the more expensive and high-end brands? According to a study, this is due to the fact that your mind is tricking you into thinking that the more expensive an item is, the better its quality. However, this may not always be the case. According to Time, Bill Gates wears a $10 watch, despite the fact that he can afford a closet full of Rolexes in his possession. Number 4. They avoid late fees. People who are rich strive to avoid late fees and additional expenses to ensure that their finances are in good shape. They are known to be able to save a substantial amount of money ahead of time to avoid any type of fees being incurred. When it comes to them, it's all about being as efficient with their money as possible. It would be much more beneficial for them to invest their money into investments or other areas that will provide them with more financial stability in the long run instead of having to pay additional fees simply because they failed to pay a bill. The problem of late fees often goes hand in hand with poor financial planning and is the result of people living paycheck to paycheck, which causes them to incur late fees. In spite of the fact that late fees may not seem like a huge amount of money at first glance, over time they can add up and become quite significant. For wealthy people, avoiding late fees is just one way to save money and keep their finances in check. Number 3. They don't buy things on credit they can't pay for. Credit cards are a type of unsecured loan that rack up debt pretty quickly. In other words, if you can't pay back what you borrowed, the credit card company can take your home or vehicle away from you. There are some pretty hefty interest rates attached to credit cards, though. As an example, credit cards are typically rated at an average interest rate of about 16%. So, if you carry a balance of $1,000 on your credit card for a period of 1 year, you will end up paying $160 in interest. And if you only make minimum payments, it might take you years to be able to pay off your debt. As a final note, credit cards can damage your credit score if you miss payments or carry an outstanding balance. Using a credit card isn't necessary for people who are already wealthy because they are not taking on unnecessary financial risks. Number 2. Gambling. There are a number of reasons why wealthy people may choose not to gamble. For one thing, gambling can be addictive and expensive, especially if a credit card is used to finance it. On top of that, if gambling is not taken seriously, it can lead to a lot of financial troubles for the person involved. As a general rule, wealthy people are generally more risk-averse than others, and may therefore avoid gambling as a way to protect their wealth. Last but not least, gambling can be illegal in some jurisdictions, and rich people may want to avoid any activities that might end up getting them in trouble with the law. If you've enjoyed it so far, please like this video and leave a comment. What is your best way to save money? Number 1. They don't buy many TV channels and video games. In general, well-off people avoid buying many TV channels and video games for so many different reasons. One of the reasons is that they often have other interests and priorities. Also, they are more focused on their careers, on travel, and experiences. Moreover, many of them may already possess a lot of access to media and entertainment through their credit cards and others. Finally, rich people may not see the point in buying a lot of TV channels, video games, or movies when they can get by with just a few. Ultimately, it comes down to individual preferences and priorities. When you know the impact of little expenses, you will realize that there is nothing little in this world. Minaj Arora, From the Rat Race to Financial Freedom.